All right, Broncos Nation still wants to talk about that massive overtime win against the Washington Commanders. So no better person to chat about the dub with than our Broncos insider, Mike Klis, in the Klis Cave. Hi.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, welcome to Klis Mike Drop, I think is what we call this segment. And yes, it was quite the game that was played in Landover, Maryland a couple days ago. If you take away the records, the fact that the Broncos were 9-2 with an 8-game winning streak, and the Washington Commanders were 3-8, now 3-9 with a 6-game losing streak, now 7. And you just enjoyed the football game. It was one heck of a game, back and forth. It was actually a game where the Broncos offense carried the day for the against the Denver defense, if you will. It's been the Denver defense that has carried the Broncos through most of the season. The defense had a tough time against Marcus Mariota and the Commanders. The Commanders' weapons. They had a nice running game going with Rodriguez. They had two nice receivers in Deebo Samuel, and Terry McLaurin came back for Washington. Had they had him all year, he'd been out 7-8 games with the quad injury. He really made a difference. And of course, the tight end, Zach Ertz, the Broncos always have trouble covering tight ends. So it was a real close game, but Bo Nix came through in the clutch. Some big games for receivers. Cortland Sutton had a nice game. And, Troy Franklin, not as much, but R.J. Harvey had a nice game, both receiving and running the ball. Evan Ingram, the tight end, the long-lost joker, as Sean Payton calls him, he had his best game as a Denver Bronco. So the Broncos pulled it out. They beat Washington 27-26. They're now 10-2 going into the Raiders. The Broncos, the offensive player of the game, kind of new segments here for our Klis Mike Drop podcast. The offensive player of the game is Bo Nix. What a fourth quarter and overtime he had. What a end of the first half, that 2-minute drive. He did really good. You took them away, and his stats wouldn't have looked too good. But Bo, it seems to be, has an uncanny knack of being at his best when the pressure is turned up high. That's a sign of a very good quarterback. I think the Broncos can go as far as they want with Bo as their quarterback. The other complementary pieces might have to improve a little bit. Defense can't have a day like they did against Washington, but Bo is definitely good enough. The defensive player of the game, you got to go with the inspirational Alex Singleton. The inside linebacker, just 23 days after he had surgery to remove testicular cancer tumor. He had 6 tackles. He had 2 big pass breakups. One he almost intercepted on a pass across the middle, and then he went deep to knock it away from Zach Ertz on a third down that would have allowed Washington to convert a third down. So Alex Singleton gets our defensive player of the game. The Broncos now, looking forward, they're going against the Las Vegas Raiders. They handled them on a Thursday night in unconvincing fashion against Geno Smith. They got 6 sacks on Geno, and the defense played great. That was one of the games. Vance Joseph and the defense was tremendous, but the Broncos struggled on a Thursday night, only winning 10-7. We'll see if they do much better this time. The Raiders have. The Broncos played better after the Raider game. They smoked the Dallas Cowboys the next week, 44-24. The Raiders, meanwhile, have gone in the tank. They're really struggling. They fired their offensive coordinator, Chip Kelly. But this is another game where the Denver defense, the pass rush, has to step up. They only had 2 sacks against Mariota, who got rid of the ball quick in Washington. Geno Smith does not get rid of the ball quick, and he does not have a good offensive line, and he has a rookie running back. All of those things add up to Vance Joseph bringing the blitz, bringing the pressure, and the Broncos should handle the Raiders convincingly as they continue to go for that number 1 seed. It looks like it's between the New England Patriots, who are 11-2 going into a bye, and the Broncos 10-2 playing the Raiders for that #1 AFC playoff seed. So we'll send it back to you. The Broncos add a veteran receiver, Elijah Moore, to their practice squad. Got to have talent depth. As you know, this season for the Broncos is going to be extended. They are going to be playing in January.